Steph Curry was already the best shooter ever. He was already a first ballot Hall of Famer, and more importantly, he had already transformed the very game of basketball itself. But still, despite everything he'd already accomplished, people always found something to discredit him with. He's never won a Finals MVP. His last 2 championships were because of Durant. He can't carry a team as the number 1 option.
I don't ever remember watching you show that in the first quarter of a game. And you did that in game 4. Why?
Going into Game 4 of the 2022 Finals, Steph had the weight of the world on his shoulders. He was 1 loss away from having his legacy smeared, and the media couldn't wait. Unfortunately for them, however, what stepped onto the court on June 10th of 2022 wasn't just Steph Curry. It was inevitability itself, dressed in a Warriors jersey.
That man was different.
Oh my God.
Different.
He went
bro.
nuclear.
It's like one of those things where I look back at it and I'm like, he's tough.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the day Steph Curry became a basketball god.
And Game 4 is definitely my favorite game of my career because of the stakes that were a part of it and the fact that we lose that game, who knows if we ever have a chance to win a championship again.
You see this, and this? Running Hoop Reports, I used to hate paying $20 here, $30 there, stacking up subscriptions just to keep things running behind the scenes. That's why I'm genuinely thankful for today's sponsor, Odoo. It's every business tool I need all in one place. Sales, manufacturing, CRM, project management, accounting, you name it. And the best part? You only pay per user, not per app. So I get the entire suite for one affordable price, saving me both time and money. Behind the scenes of Hoop Reports, there's a lot going on. Scripts, sponsors, finances, scheduling. But Odoo makes it simple. The interface is clean, it's easy to use, and it handles all the stuff I'd rather not stress over. So if you're building something, whether it's a YouTube channel, an online business, or your own brand, do yourself a favor and check out Odoo. It's a massive time saver, and in this game, that's everything. Hit the link in the description for a free 14-day trial and bring everything under one roof. Have you ever wondered what's harder than achieving greatness? Climbing back to the top after hitting rock bottom. In the late 2010s, Steph Curry didn't just reach the top. He lived there.
There's the buzzer. There's a new dynasty in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors champions once again, back-to-back titles, 3 in 4 years.
In an instant, however, everything fell apart. What was once an unstoppable empire vanished into thin air. At this point in his career, however, Steph had nothing left to prove. His story could have ended here, a legend, a fortune, and immortalized. But the thing about greatness is that it never stops writing new chapters. When the 2021 season rolled around, the climb back up had already begun. This time, though, the road was anything but smooth.
Yeah, we need to win immediately.
The league had evolved, new stars had emerged, and for the first time in a long time, Steph was forced to swallow the bitter taste of defeat.
Morant picked up by Curry. Again, Curry with 5 fouls, shot clock at 3. Morant gets inside, a little push shot is good.
But champions don't stay down. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8.
You don't want to see us next year.
For the 2022 season, Curry, at age 33, stayed true to his word. Standing just 6'2" in a league filled with young, athletic giants, Steph was making the impossible look elementary. Don't get it twisted though. It was anything but easy.
You believe you can get there, but you really don't. You don't know because it's a new crop of guys. It's the older version of us.
Steph wouldn't have had it any other way though. This is exactly what he wanted. The pressure, the spotlight, the everything. And so it happened. Before the world could blink, number 30 was back on the biggest stage basketball has to offer. Across from him this time were the Boston Celtics, a team full of youth, talent, and hunger. But this time, more than just looking in the eyes of another foe, Steph was staring down destiny itself. It wasn't about proving anything to anyone else anymore. It was about proving it to the man in the mirror. Winning the first 3 games would have made everything easier. But, as they say, life gives you what you need, not what you want. And after the first 3 games, the stage and the moment couldn't have been bigger for Steph.
And it was different because we were tested in a way that, was new.
If Curry was staring down destiny at the start of the series, then on this day, June 10th of 2022, he was face to face with it. The game started off as a wake-up call to Curry. Imagine this, a game that could redefine not just your legacy, but your life. And the opening minutes looked like the beginning of a blowout.
Double dribble from Klay Thompson.
Into the first quarter, and we're already down, I think, like 12-4 or something like that.
One thing was clear from the way Boston approached the game. They were committed to staying glued to Curry. They also rotated different defenders onto him and applied constant pressure, doing whatever they could to keep him from finding a rhythm. But through the little cracks and openings of the game, Curry started to find his spots. And then he started to cook.
Curry, another long distance shot. It's good. Steph Curry. Back-to-back long distance threes and a 5-point lead for the Warriors.
Boston had to call timeout. Steph had become possessed, unleashing a surge of rage and energy the Celtics hadn't seen all series.
I don't know, I hit that one shot and I started yelling at the crowd. I was like, this is going to be a different motherfucking game. I said that.
Steph started the second quarter on the bench, but when he came back in, it was like he never left.
The heart on that man is incredible. The things he does, we kind of take for granted from time to time, but...
Just look at this play again. He beats both the Celtics captain and the defensive player of the year to the ball. Then with his footwork, before anyone in green could even react, he was already at the rim for the layup. This Celtics team wasn't a pushover, however, and when the halftime buzzer sounded, despite a first half high of 19 points, Steph was still down by 5. It was clear if the Warriors were going to win, they needed more help.
Steph Curry has had to do a lot of the load, obviously, for this team. He's doing it again. He's got 19 points. He's making buckets, brought to you by KFC. But he's going to need some help in the second half.
In a game with this much at stake, however, Steph knew he needed to be greater than great. He knew that the buck both started and ended with him, and that there wasn't any room for excuses. And what came next was one of the greatest shooting displays in NBA Finals history.
For everything we threw at them, is like they had an answer for.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, the answer was just Steph.
Steph opened the third quarter with a classic pin-down screen of beauty. And when it worked the first time, he figured, why not do it again?
Curry launches a three. It's good. Steph Curry with his third three-pointer.
NBA players talk a lot about the zone. When time fades, instincts take over, and everything slows down. Watching Steph in this moment, it was clear he entered the zone.
313 is crazy. especially in the NBA Finals. So he's our leader, and that's what he does. So huge game by him, and we needed that.
What made the entire spectacle even more impressive was that he did it while getting virtually no love from the refs.
You know, a couple of those threes probably should have been the...
But Curry didn't let the officiating shake him. After a brief burst of frustration, he locked right back in.
Hating it all the time in the world. Curry three-pointer, puts it in. 33 for Steph Curry.
Now, look at this play. I've watched a lot of NBA basketball in my life, but I've never seen someone drive and kick to the corner, then relocate to that very same corner, fake a closeout, then shoot a three. The third quarter ended with the game still a one-point battle. Even with all of Steph's greatness, there was still no room to breathe. Throughout the first three games, the Warriors had been completely outscored in the final frame, and you can bet Steph knew that by heart by now. The fourth quarter opened with the Warriors missing a beat and the Celtics striking a chord.
Rise, kicks it out White, corner three. Oh, he's got it. What shooting from White?
You could see Steph on the bench at that point, taking a deep breath, like he knew another Herculean effort was about to be required if he wanted to win. The Celtics lead quickly stretched to 5. Any more, and the Warriors could have been in serious trouble. But luckily, Wiggins and Clay rose to the moment, giving Steph exactly the lift he needed.
Sees Thompson. Thompson fires a three. Bang! Clay Thompson from downtown. And the Warriors go up by 1.
With about 4 minutes left, however, in a one-point game, Curry knew it was go time, closing time, that it was now or never. First, he shook off the Defensive Player of the Year, then danced with another all-defensive talent, putting him to sleep before bursting through for a smooth mid-range floater.
Looking to unload it. Flips it up. Shot is good. Steph Curry.
For him to be able to go in there and kind of take over that game in those moments.
Moments later, he struck again, this time with Derek White, another elite defender. But it simply did not matter. This fan right here tried to jinx Curry with everything he had, only to watch Steph break his heart.
It was absolutely incredible. He did exactly what we expected him to do and helped carry us to the win.
Steph was on fire. His dad was loving it. He was him. This was his moment.
Put us on his back, willed us to a win, much needed win. Game we had to have. Came out and showed why he's one of the best players to ever play this game.
After that, for all intents and purposes, it was Curry at the free throw line. And we all know how that ends.
31 losing that series.
Nah, he wasn't.
What he did game 4, I was like, yeah, he can do this. He can do this if he really needs.
This wasn't his highest scoring playoff game. It wasn't a gold medal performance. It wasn't a 50-point detonation. But when his team's back was against the wall, when his legacy was hanging in the balance, Steph Curry delivered the game of games.
At that moment, it felt like they won the championship. That's how hard they were celebrating after just the game. It was 2-2. You know what I'm saying?
And with that fourth ring, on June 10th, 2022, he didn't just meet destiny. He rewrote it, became a top 10 player of all time, and solidified his status as a basketball god.
Because people always like, what was your favorite moment? Like, was it starting? I'm like, nah, it was sitting on the bench during the finals run.
That's tough, bro.
Because it's like you seeing the best basketball being played like ever.